If you're doing commission only in insurance sales, you're either going to get chewed up or you're going to thrive. I'm going to break down to you guys exactly why that is to be the case in this video. For those of you guys that do not know, again, my name is Nku with Freedom Code. I scaled an agency to over 35 million in team sales, and we helped over 18 of those agents hit a multiple six-figure income. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about, again, is why commission roles aren't inherently bad. So people hear commission roles, and the first thing they assume is I'm going to make zero money for all the hours that I work. That is not always the case. So the upside of insurance sales and commission only far outweighs any negatives that commission only can bring. Let me break this down to you. So if I'm working, selling, let's say I'm at Subway, right? And I am making $15 an hour, right? You've heard this expression before, I'm exchanging 1 hour of my time at this sandwich shop making sandwiches for $15 in return. Factor that out to a normal 40-hour work week. That's $600 that you're making pre-tax. 40 hours of your life are now gone making sandwiches. Let's flip that. Let's say you're a project manager, right? Let's say your salary is a little bit higher. Let's say you're making $90,000. Let's even call it $100,000. Not bad, but you are now considered a salary employee. Now, when you are a salary employee, here's what happens. You get paid week in and week out, regardless of the amount of hours that you're working. Might sound like a benefit, right? Oh my God, I can only work 20 hours a week and I get paid the same amount. From a company perspective, if you're getting paid a flat salary, 9 times out of 10, the workload that you are doing is going to be much more than what that paycheck itself is demanding. Because if I know that, hey, I can squeeze more out of this fruit than what is seen, that's exactly what I'm going to do as a company to help become more productive as a company. And so that's the idea that not every business model or not every payment, how you're getting paid as an employee is better than the other. Now, of course, when it comes to the commission only, there are the downsides, like I mentioned. There's no safety net, and there's a lot of pressure early on to make money, whether that's from yourself or whether that's from your immediate circle. The main thing that you have to understand when you're jumping into commission only sales, whether you've done it or not, is you have to be a shark. You have to come into it and you have to have a killer mentality in this business, knowing that people around you will fall. People around you will quit. People around you will complain. People around you will make every reason as to why they're not going to be successful selling insurance. And that is the exact same reason why it'll be you that will be successful in the insurance business. When you're coming in and you are making ends meet, to say nicely, you're thinking that you're going to come in and within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're going to make a paycheck or you're going to leave. The idea of insurance sales was never for you. It really isn't. And when I was doing interviews, when I was trying to, build the team, that's one of the questions that I would ask. I'm saying, look, is this something that you can commit to? Do you have external factors as to why you wouldn't be able to dedicate the time, resources, and money to get the state license towards this business idea or this job opportunity? A lot of times the commission, usually for older folks, was a bottleneck or something that they weren't able to commit to. And then the younger, sometimes they had a time restraint, which is the kids or the spouse or whatever the case is. At the end of the day, if this is something that you jump into and you say, I want to do the 100% commission sales and I want to, make 5,000 and I have this strong why and I'm going to do all these things, then understand that it's not going to come in week 1 or week 2. I usually preface it as a negative most of the time, where I say, look, it's going to take you a long time before you're making money, right? Just to see if they truly still want to do it. Because if your financial timeline is I have to make money in a month or I'm getting evicted, again, not going to be the time for you to start a business, more specifically, commission-only business. And that's how I kind of use the commission pressure to expose the weaknesses fast. Because if you struggle to be self-motivated, if you struggle to get up in the morning, if the other agents don't struggle to get up in the morning and they're making money, then those agents are going to make more money than you, and those agents are going to last longer than you, and that is purely on you. Of course, you want to keep every single agent, but as long as the recruiting funnel is just similar to a pipeline, continuing to be fed, then I'm going to grow my business and my team at a higher rate than most. I'm going to be able to not only hire, I'm going to be able to hire, train, and replace agents faster than you can decide on if commission only is for you or not. And that, I think, is the biggest way that you can kind of attack whether or not commission only is for you is, do I have the time commitment for this? Do I have the financial commitment? Am I okay going a month or two without making a paycheck because I'm studying for my exam and going through trainings, right? And then once you've kind of knocked those off, is this something that you truly believe that you can do? Do you have the confidence, the coachability, and the work ethic to really put towards this and see yourself making $100,000 a year? If the answer to any of those questions are no, then the commission only might not be for you. Maybe it's commission plus a base. And that's perfectly fine, right? Not every agent is meant to come in and crush 100,000. We just said that anybody that comes through our system and follows what we put in place and listens to our mentors can do. Last, certainly not least, the strategies for turning commission only stress into motivation. So one thing that I was able to do very well as an agent was understanding that, of course, if you have the basics to know that, okay, if I make $0 this week, I'm not going to die. It's not going to be the end of the world. I'm going to have food on my table and I'm going to have a place to live. If that's the bare metrics of the baseline of what you're going off of, once you start to see success and how you can almost flip that from a commission only perspective and say, okay, well, it's commission only, it's commission only, it's commission only, boom, until you see your first check and know that I just don't have to make zero, right? So if you look at it and say, okay, well, I don't want to make zero, and you put that into the universe to the point where you're not making $0 checks, now you can turn your focus from, okay, not like you're not going to make money, right? It's just now it's less than what you've liked. So now you can build that as a building block to where if now your bottleneck is that I'm only at $1,000 a week, first off, you're making a consistent check, which in a commission only job is difficult to do. Now it's how do I compound that to $2,000 a month? Stable 1,000 to maybe unstable 2,000. It's not going to be overnight, but with the systems and the ability to invest in your own leads, that is how you're going to basically invert the understanding of how motivation from commission only jobs can come to be about, right? Because now anybody that does a commission only job, you know that if they're making $500,000 a year, they did that getting it out the mud. They did that bare bones going through the rubble and building their business from the ground up. Commission only, I mean, it's a magnifying glass at the end of the day. It makes your strengths obvious, it makes your weaknesses obvious, and it does it very, very, very quickly. The beauty in that is that you're able to self-reflect, implement, and make those changes, or become part of the 92% that is still struggling to find their way in the insurance business. Thank you guys very much for your time. If you guys like videos like this, or if you like this one in specific, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know again, guys, what kind of videos that you guys would like to see, and maybe what your experience has been in commission only sales, what you thought it would be versus what it has been, or if you have any other bottlenecks when it comes to commission only jobs. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, we'll see you guys soon.